YouTube friends and family. Hope everyone's doing well. Topic for today. I I joined a new group. Maybe it's not a new group, new to me. I joined a group on Facebook called Hot Shotting for Beginners or Beginning Hot Shots or something like that. And I've gotten kind of ideas for videos because, of course, they're newbie questions, right? And I'm working on another video. It's just taking me a while to get it done, where I kind of dissect someone else's video where they interviewed a couple that started a hotshot business and like didn't last 6 months. And so I share a lot of what I saw wrong in that video. And guys, everybody runs their house a little different. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the bottom line is we have to make money. And if we don't make money, we can't stay in business. This isn't a charitable kind of thing where, it's Christmas time and we can stand Santa over there in front of the store ringing the bell and asking for money. Business doesn't work that way. If you didn't make money when your season for whatever type of trucking you do, if you didn't make enough money to carry you through the slow time, you just don't make it. And that's just all there is to it. So I dissected that video a little bit, and in that video came up a couple issues, questions, whatever you want to call it, and someone just popped one in that group. What do you do to age your authority? There's this thing now where a lot of brokers are asking for 6 months authority and a minimum of 2 inspections. And so how do you do this? How do you accommodate having met this criteria when you can't start? I mean, how do you start if no one gives you work, right? And how do you, the thing now is everyone's trying to age their authority. So there's a couple tactics that can be used that are legal, legitimate, but they do cost you a little bit of money. But let's kind of compare. What does it cost you to put $3,000 down on your insurance, plus now you got to pay $1,000 to $2,000 every month for that policy, and you go rent a box truck, buy a hotshot pickup truck, whatever it may be. You've got to suck these payments down, and now no one wants to touch you for 3 to 6 months. You got to make all those payments. So the tactic I'm gonna give you guys isn't free. Well, I'm giving it to you for free. I don't charge anybody for any of this. But to employ the tactic is gonna cost you a little money. But at the end of the day, compare what you get. So, okay, in my case, I was buying trucks in California and we were putting them to work in New Mexico and West Texas. And there's this big misconception that you can't move your trucks across state lines without an MC authority. This is not true. A lot of old wives' tales. I started to put together a series of old wives' tales, and frankly, I just haven't had time lately. Been doing a lot of personal stuff. Anyway, so if you're at a point where you're buying a truck, buying a trailer, whatever it is, and you need to go grab it, but you haven't activated your authority, you can just set up a DOT number. US DOT number, all the same information that you're gonna put in for your MC authority, with the exception of you're not gonna check the box where it says you are for hire. You're gonna be a private carrier. The funny thing is that DOT number will go active the minute you hit send. They don't need for your insurance agent to send them insurance. It's not gonna wait, 20 some days to go through the vetting process. It goes active that minute. And be ready for your phone to blow up, because whatever phone number you put there, the minute you hit send, literally you won't count to 10 and your phone will start ringing. Anyway, so with a US DOT number, you can go fly to Texas, pick up a box truck, throw your DOT number on it, and drive it to any other state, as long as you are not carrying any cargo or anything in the truck, has to be yours. So if it's your property, that's all you need. And some people are going to challenge me and say, oh, if you're making money, you need an MC authority. I did a video already on that, on who's for hire, and you guys can check that out. If you are not transporting anyone else's property, you do not need an MC authority. Okay, so that helps if you're gonna go buy a trailer in Texas and you have a pickup truck, let's say in California. You need to go there, grab your trailer, and come back. Well, you can drive your pickup truck there, for example. No one's really gonna question, especially if you're not even driving a dually, no one's gonna really care. You're not gonna pull into the scales. But once you hook up that trailer and you're coming back, they look at you as a commercial motor vehicle, and some states require you to pull into the scale. So you'll get a variety of violations because you're a business and you don't have your DOT number. So you can do that. You can set up your US DOT number. I had a separate US DOT number solely for the purpose of establishing my California-based IRP account. And then I switched it to an exempt US DOT number, which basically means I don't do business for myself. I'm just identifying myself. And the beauty with that is, if let's say I would have leased one of my trucks on with someone and then we have a falling out and they're like, well, fine, you're fired. Okay, because the plates belong to me, they had no right to pull them. I would lose my ability to transport, but I could still drive my truck home legally. I would just have to remove their numbers and put mine on, and I would be not for hire. I couldn't have cargo on board. That does not belong to me. So, okay, that is how you can move your equipment to and from without getting in trouble. How do you age your authority? Well, especially how do you age your authority while you work for someone else? That was how the question was asked on Facebook. And the issue is, you need now, for a lot of brokers, to be 6 months with your authority and a minimum of 2 inspections. That is difficult when no one will give you work, right? So what do you do? Well, if you're working under somebody else, under their authority, you at least have income coming in. They're going to hit you for an insurance cost, and you're already making your truck payment. You're doing all that. So it's not legal to insure the same vehicle. Well, it's not illegal, but you'll run into trouble if you try to use the same vehicle to activate your MC authority on your insurance, because now there are 2 policies covering the same vehicle, and that turns into a nightmare in the event of a claim. So how do you do this? Simple. And this is how you keep it as cheap as possible. You take a vehicle that you own. If you already pay insurance for it, you're going to cancel that policy and you're going to put this vehicle on your new policy, but you're not going to need $1 million liability. Your authority will activate with $750,000. Okay? You just save money there. You do not need cargo insurance because you're technically not going to transport everything, right? Then what you do is you put a higher deductible on the policy. You don't go with $100 or a $500 deductible. You could go as high as $5,000. Now, if this is a vehicle that is insured and it's got payments still on it, in other words, there's a lien holder, you're going to have to meet the criteria what that lien holder wants. And so at that point, if you've got an older beater sitting in your driveway that maybe you were thinking, yeah, this is my beater I use just to run around town, whatever, and there's no value to it, you can use it, and it doesn't have to be a truck. There's this big misconception that if it's not a truck, it's not going to work. That's not true. We used a Nissan Altima. The thing was 20 years old for one of our policies, and no one's going to question it. You just need insurance. And so in the case of the Altima, we did not put full coverage on the vehicle. We listed our service area as under 50 miles. We listed 750,000 as the amount of insurance coverage we want. And then we made the deductible high. We made the deductible like $5,000. This is not a danger to you because the vehicle's not moving. The vehicle is sitting, in your backyard, in the driveway, whatever. This will activate your authority and it will give you, no broker's going to give you work, but it will let your authority start aging. Now, another hack, if you live in Los Angeles, California, for example, and you're activating your authority and your insurance is still kind of high, what you do is you get yourself a friend, a relative, someone that lives in an area where insurance is cheap. That's the key, cheap. And so if you can find someone that lives in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, or, some small rural town away from a major metropolitan area, those zip codes tend to be cheaper for authority. And you're not going to list that as your business address. You're going to list that as your garaging address, where you park the vehicle. That will also lower the policy. Now, right now you guys are thinking, oh, Miguel, no, you're wrong. That doesn't work. When you fill out your application for your MC authority or your DOT number, either or, they ask you what is your physical address and what is your mailing address. You use your mailing address, whatever address you're going to use. If it's your home, if it's an office that you keep somewhere, you list one as your official mailing address. You list the other one as your physical, where you keep the equipment, but there's no equipment to keep yet. And so once you go to activate your authority, whatever it is, 3 months later, not activate it, but once you're actually going to function. Okay, so for the sake of this video, we're going to say that you're leasing on to XYZ Trucking, and so your truck's going to be out on the road anyways, and your truck will not be due for inspections other than through their authority. Your new entrant audit won't come for over a year anyways, and so once you hit that 6-month window where it's time for you to start operating on your own, then what you do is you file an MCS 150 form and you change the garaging address to where you're actually going to park the vehicle. You up your insurance policy to the $1 million coverage plus the 100,000 in cargo, and that will let your authority age without it breaking the bank. You can actually create that kind of policy relatively cheap compared to what some of you guys are paying. You box truck guys, I see on Facebook saying you're paying it in some cases almost $30,000 a year. That to me is just insane. I wouldn't even consider going into business at that price. Anyway, so that covers the aging part. What do we do for the 2 inspections? That's tough, right? Not as tough as you think. So what you do is you go to the nearest commercial vehicle inspection station. Most people refer to them as a scale house. The CB calls them chicken coops. And so you find one close to your home. Where I live in Ventura County, there's a thing called Conejo Grade, and there's a northbound scale, a southbound scale. You can just drive in there in your personal vehicle and say, I got a vehicle that I need to get inspected. And you can tell them the truth. I need to have a couple inspections under my belt before brokers will want to start giving me work. And so what day will you have someone here that I can come back, pull into the barn, and get an inspection? And they'll typically tell you, even though you think, oh, they're trying to keep it secret because they're trying to spring this surprise on us. When they see you're trying to do the right thing, guys, honestly, I've walked into scale houses and asked for advice. When they see you're trying to do the right thing, they're all for it. Unless they're like really, really swamped, typically you'll get like a really welcoming attitude. Hey, here's someone that wants to do it right. Here's someone that has their act together and they don't want to be on the wrong side of us. They want to be in compliance. And so they'll tell you, hey, look, next Tuesday, we're going to have two officers here and we're going to be pulling trucks in. All right, hey, so can I show up like at 7, 8, whatever? Yeah, sure. Then what you do is you go down and you rent yourself a box truck. That's simple. You go rent a box truck, you drive it down there, you you have to remember to put your authority on it. Okay, don't forget to put your DOT number on it and your name on it, because not having it on there is a violation unto itself. So go through the truck with what you've learned, make sure it's got everything, fire extinguisher mounted correctly, triangles, yada, yada, yada. And because it's a 1-day rental, they're not gonna ask you for an ELD, and you tell them I'm running under short haul exemption. And if they ask you, where are you going? Where's your bill of lading? Where's your manifest? You tell them, look, this is actually to go pick up some personal stuff, but this is a truck leased under my authority. We rented it, and we're operating it under my authority. Even though I'm technically not for hire at the moment, they'll still give you the inspection. You get the vehicle inspected, you turn right back around, you go turn it back in so you don't run up fuels and miles, and you say thank you very much to whomever you rented it from. Now, right now, some of you guys are going to say, yeah, Miguel, but shit, have you called Ryder? They got a 90-day waiting list. Doesn't have to be a box truck with a lift gate for the sake of the inspection. You can go to U-Haul and get yourself a 1-ton dually that has a gross vehicle weight rating over 10,000 pounds. That is a commercial motor vehicle. They will inspect it. Those things are available. If you can't find one of those, you can go to U-Haul and rent yourself a moving van. Those aren't as in high demand. You can do that with the moving van for the sake of the inspection. And so right about now you're thinking, well, Miguel, that sounds all fine and dandy, but how much money am I going to spend? Well, so whatever the rental is kind of academic, because if you're planning on renting a box truck to operate, you're going to spend a lot of money on rental anyways. How much money is it going to cost you to go rent that box truck and have it sit in your driveway, because brokers will not give you work? That's going to cost you an arm and a leg. What's it going to cost you to pay $2,000 a month out of your pocket? You can't go work because brokers don't want to give you the work, and you're paying that insurance, you're paying for the box truck, and now they're saying they want 6 months authority plus 2 inspections. Can you afford $12,000 in rental? I couldn't. I mean, I've got money in the bank sitting because I sold some equipment, but I would not start operating with that kind of deficit. So you do these tactics and you accomplish the goal. You accomplish I got my 2 inspections. And here's the funny thing is you can accomplish both inspections in the same day. Ordinarily, if you take one vehicle in and you inspect it today, they won't inspect it again in most states for another 12 days. And so you're like, oh, I gotta wait 12 days. But if you're doing the rental truck thing and you go to U-Haul and you rent, a 12-foot stake bed, a 1-ton, like an F350 that has a GVWR of 12,000 pounds, I think they're 14 actually. Pull in there, boom, get your inspection, go back, drop it off, grab another truck, come back, boom, get your inspection, go back. You got 2 inspections in the same day. No one can pull up this data and say, Miguel, you went to U-Haul and rented a truck just so you can get these. They don't care about that. You got 2 passing, hopefully U-Haul did a good job. You get 2 passing inspections and your authority is now aged correctly. So what you need to do once you've hit the 6-month window, you go to your insurance policy and you up it to $1 million. You add the cargo for 100,000. Some are asking for 150. At one point we had $500,000 because oil field was crazy. But so you up those policies, you get the vehicle that you're going to be using, and you put it on your policy. Now you're on the treadmill. Now you got to pay the piper, right? But you can pick up the phone, call brokers, and here's the upside. You're going to be 6 months old. You're going to have 2 vehicle inspections under your authority, but you're not going to have any negative, what do they call that? What carrier 411, or all of these negative things that carriers sometimes report on us. None of that's going to be existing because you haven't hauled for anyone. And so you're actually kind of going to move to the front of the line from the back of the line. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, guys, my clock is about to reset. I wanted to try and get this video out as quickly as possible, and look for a couple others to hopefully come up in the next day or two if I get a chance to put them together properly. A couple different topics I've covered, and hopefully it helps you guys. Stay safe. We just had a storm move through. I'm in Colorado. There's another one coming ashore. We've been running back and forth to Canada and out here in Colorado. We've encountered some weather. Maybe I'll drop it in here at the end. But stay safe. If it's time to stop and just wait the weather out, wait it out. I'd rather have a broker ask why I'm late than to me call them up and say, hey, your cargo's in a ditch. Anyways, as always, guys, thanks for watching.